Hello YouTubers, Chuck Holler, August 8th, 2014. Today, I'm going to try to give a small educational video on something really simple, some simple techniques on how to get drinking water if you're without drinking water. God's precious gift to us. Do you know that over 1 billion people on our planet cannot just go get a drink of water when they want it, clean water? Some of the things that we really take for granted in America. Yet, this past weekend in Toledo, Ohio, almost 500,000 people were not able to get a drink of water. And anybody who was getting water from Lake Erie, because of a toxin, and the warning was, don't even touch the water. Don't put it in your washing machine, don't wash your clothes with it. And they were talking about the tap water. Don't drink it, don't even touch it. Toxin, that was the word going around. Well, it was a toxin, but it was a natural toxin called microcystin, and it comes from blue-green algae when you have an overabundance of the blooms, and it's dangerous. It'll ruin your liver. But there's a way to treat the water, and of course they didn't tell anybody this, and I'm not sure why, unless there were alternative motives, but that's not the reason for this video today. This video is to show you how to get drinking water safely with just a few simple techniques. Now, you want to start off with as pure and clean as you can possibly get. Let me give a warning out there first of all. No way, shape, or form to keep from getting sued, I must say this. Hold me accountable for what I'm saying, although this is what I would do. So, and I would do this for my family and my children. I want to give a warning about stagnant water. Stay away from it. Don't try to do these techniques with water that's been sitting in an inner tube or in a bucket for the whole summer. Stagnant water is dangerous because when water doesn't move, it allows the bacteria a chance to develop and to grow. It allows mosquitoes, you get malaria. Stagnant water is a very dangerous thing. But water that's in your creeks and lakes, that's moving water, it's a good water to start with. Now, once again, you want to get it as clean as possible before you start the technique. So, filtration. One way you can filter it, if you don't want to build some kind of an elaborate salt, rock, not salt, but I mean sand, rock, dirt, different layers. You've all seen the techniques over the years. A simple technique is you can get a 5-gallon bucket. I just made a small, you fill it with water, you put it on that table right here. Then you take a sheet and you tie the sheet into knots. You put the sheet in the top one and you just allow it to hang over into the smaller ones, the smaller bucket that's on the ground. This causes a natural siphon, and you'll notice by the time that the water siphons from the top bucket to the bottom bucket that the sheet is muddy and dirty, but the water is pretty well clean. Now, just because the water is clean doesn't mean that there's not microbes and cholera and diphtheria, and this microcystin that was in Toledo this weekend. This technique would not take care of that. There is a technique that will, and it's called distilling. And distilling water is not a large, complicated process. If you've just got a little bit of heat, it's pretty easy to do it. Now, I've got a couple props here today. I normally don't do this, but this here is a Dutch oven, and it's pretty thick. But the reason that I'm using this Dutch oven today is because of the lid. You can see how the lid has a contour here. So what you want to start with is, now you see this can here. Well, let's not show the label here. You take a can like this of green beans or whatever, and you cut the tops out of the top and the bottom. This way it will sit inside of a pan full of water. On top of this can you put your bowl, and you center this in your pan. Now you start to heat it up. Now make sure you don't bring it to a rapid boil, because it's going to be splashing contaminated water into your bowl, and you don't want to do that. So bring it to a nice simmer to where you start getting a steam. You take your lid and you put it in upside down. Now what happens when the steam hits this, it comes to the center and drips into the bowl. So after about 20 minutes, you have a bowl full of clean drinking water. And this water, there's nothing in it, not even minerals. You can do this with salt water if you live on the ocean. It'll take the salt right out, it'll take any minerals out. Matter of fact, that's why there's a rumor going around that if you drink distilled water your entire life, that it's dangerous because it leaches the minerals out of your body. Well, that's what we call a half-truth. Yes, it does leach minerals out of your body, but only the elemental minerals, the bad ones. The good ones are what we call colloidal minerals. Anything that is a molecule, 5 molecules or smaller, is what we call colloidal. It doesn't sink, it doesn't float, it's just there like milk. And what our vegetables and fruits does, it takes the minerals out of the ground and turns it into a colloidal level that our bodies can use. So distilled water, it's a good thing. Now, if you're a little paranoid and you want to even go a step further, you can chlorinate your own water. It's a simple technique. It's only 8 to 16 drops of bleach per 1 gallon. And you can even eliminate the distilling part if you just want to skip and go right to the bleach. Put the bleach right in. So everybody should have a gallon of bleach laying around your house, just in order to create some valuable drinking water if need be. If you have a little trouble with the chlorine smell, the bleach smell, 24 hours it will evaporate and the water will still be clean and ready to go. Last but not least, and of course now once again let me say that this would have handled that microcystin problem in Toledo this weekend. Instead, they brought the National Guard in. They're charging $36 for a case of water. And those are just the stories we're hearing about, folks. Who knows what all happened there. Last but not least, you can radiate your water with the greenhouse effect. Now, what is the greenhouse effect? Well, I owned a greenhouse. And it was a 50 foot by 25 foot wide, about 14 foot high. And I'll tell you something amazing about it. I live in Illinois. And, for instance, in Illinois, we don't have the rocky ground that Missouri, Arkansas has, so that's why the filtering part of the water is important, because our creeks and rivers around here, they look muddy. It's not like when you go down to the Current River and the water is crystal blue. You're not getting that here. So, but back to the greenhouse. I'll never forget 5 degrees below zero. Now, folks, that's cold. 5 degrees below zero. And we walked out in our greenhouse on a day when it was 5 below, but we had direct sunlight. It wasn't a cloudy day. We had to strip down to t-shirts. It was 100 degrees in that greenhouse. Well, you can do the same thing to purify drinking water. This is just a regular bottle of water here. You can take a bottle of water like this and put it in the sun, and what happens is the ultraviolet rays will penetrate this bottle of water but not leave it, and in 5 or 6 hours it will kill all the microorganisms in this water. Now, this is the preferred method by the World Health Organization, and if you'll notice that a lot of third world countries, they have these bottles lined on their rooftops, lined in their driveways, waiting 6, 7, 8 hours a day to try to get some clean water. So, folks, I hope this has helped you today, because there's nothing worse than not being able to get a clean drink of water when you want one. And we can only go 3 or 4 days without water, and we start to die. So, that's all I got for you today. Enjoy your water, folks. God bless you.